Tigray.
Right now.
Stop bombing Tigray.
Right now.
Stop bombing Tigray.
Right now.
Stop bombing Tigray.
Right now.
Justice for 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 Tigray.
Right now.
Stop the genocide in 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 Tigray.
Right now.
Free 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 Tigray.
Right now.
Justice for Tigray.
Right now.
Justice for Tigray.
Right now.
Tagaru.
Yeah.
Allanado.
Allana.
Allanado.
Allana.
Tagaru. Allanado.
Allana.
This is when we need to be tougher than ever, man. Nobody needs to be tired. This little signature don't mean nothing until they respect Tigray. So justice for Tigray. Right now. Justice for Tigray.
Right now.
Justice for Tigray.
Right now.
Justice for Tigray.
Right now.
Justice for Tigray.
Right now.
Allah humanitarian access to Tigray. Right now. Allah humanitarian access to Tigray.
Right now.
Allah humanitarian access to Tigray.
Right now.
Free 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 Tigray.
Right now.
Justice for Tigray.
Right now.
Justice for Tigray.
Right now.
Allah humanitarian access to Tigray.
Right now.
Allah humanitarian access to Tigray. Right now. Stop bombing Tigray. Right now. Stop bombing Tigray.
Right now.
Now just say free Tigray. We want free Tigray. So free Tigray.
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 Free Tigray. Free Tigray. Justice for Tigray.
Justice for Tigray.
Justice for Tigray.
Justice for Tigray.
Justice for Tigray.
Justice for Tigray.
Justice for Tigray!
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 Justice for Tigray.
What do we want?
Justice.
What do we want?
Justice.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
When do we want it?
Now.
When do we want it?
Now.
Justice for Tigray!
Justice for Tigray.
Justice for Tigray!
Justice for Tigray.
Eritrean troops out of Tigray!
Eritrean troops out of Tigray.
Eritrean troops out of Tigray!
Eritrean troops out of Tigray.
Eritrean troops out of Tigray!
Eritrean troops out of Tigray.
Amhara militia out of Tigray!
Amhara militia out of Tigray.
Free Tigray!
Free Tigray.
Free Tigray!
Free Tigray.
Free Tigray!
Free Tigray.
Free Tigray!
Free Tigray.
Food and medicine to Tigray!
Food and medicine to Tigray.
Food and medicine to Tigray!
Food and medicine to Tigray.
Food and medicine to Tigray!
Food and medicine to Tigray.
Food and medicine to Tigray!
Food and medicine to Tigray.
We demand justice now!
We demand justice now.
We demand justice now!
We demand justice now.
We demand justice now!
We demand justice now.
What do we want?
Peace.
What do we want?
Justice.
What do we want?
Justice.
What do we want it?
Now.
What do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
No. Okay, we're gonna keep it going. So you guys know our communities across the United States, Canada, Europe, Australia. The concern that we're hearing, this is implementation for peace. Let's make sure, like Getachew Renda said, are we going to see it implemented? So let's not jump ahead of the game. Our people are suffering for too long. Today marks 2 years of the atrocity to our people in Tigray. Over 7 million people being shut off from the international community. Our family have been suffering for too long. 2 years is too long. 2 years is too long to suffer. So we demand peace and justice. We want our people to be free from the invading forces of Eritrea, Amhara regional forces, and Fano. We need to be very clear. The Tigray government, the people of Tigray, have always been demanding for peace and justice. We do not want war. We never want war. It is the failure of the leadership within Ethiopia, Eritrea, who want ethnic elimination in Tigray. So our demand is very simple. We need peace, justice, and harmony for our people. What do we want?
Peace.
What do we want?
Justice.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
When do we want it?
Now.
When do we want it?
Now.
Free Tigray!
Free Tigray.
Free Tigray!
Free Tigray.
Free Tigray!
Free Tigray.
Free Tigray!
Free Tigray.
Allow humanitarian aid to Tigray!
Allow humanitarian aid to Tigray.
Allow humanitarian aid to Tigray!
Allow humanitarian aid to Tigray.
Allow humanitarian aid to Tigray!
Allow humanitarian aid to Tigray.
Allow humanitarian aid to Tigray!
Allow humanitarian aid to Tigray.
Allow humanitarian aid to Tigray!
Allow humanitarian aid to Tigray.
Allow humanitarian aid to Tigray!
Allow humanitarian aid to Tigray.
Justice for Tigray!
Justice for 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 Tigray.
We demand justice!
We demand justice.
We demand justice!
We demand justice.
We demand justice!
We demand justice.
We demand justice for Tigray!
We demand justice for Tigray.
We demand justice for Tigray!
We demand justice for Tigray.
ሓደ ግዜ ኣብ ዝተበታቲና ብጣዕሚ መስመርና ንሓዝሙ ኩላህና አይኖ ፀሓይ እዩ ዘሎ ግን መስመርና ንሓዝ everyone please be in the lines ኣብ ማእከል ገለ ዘለኹም ኩልኩም ናብ መስመርና ንእተሞ ተመብ ቅድሚ ዘሎ መራሕቲ ጥራሕ ኣብ ቅድሚ ትኾኑ everyone please be in line ኩልኩም መስመር ንስራሕ
መስመር ይሃልና
መስመር ከም TDF በዝን በተን እዮም ዝኾኑ ኣብ ማእከል ትኾኑ
Okay.
በስርዒት ኩለና
እሺ
ማዚ ተላይን ሓደ በዚ only ጨረሕቲ ኣብ ማእከል ይኾኑ እና መራሕትና ኣብ ማእከል ይኾኑ so lines left and right.
Thank you guys. So as you all know that this is what divided the White House. This is the eclipse and the other side is the Lafayette. So we're going to address the president from here. So we're all going to stand up here for 2 minutes and address the United States president. So Mazi, take over. We're going to address the White House president because the connector.
We're here protesting the ongoing genocidal war in Tigray, Ethiopia. For the past 2 years, the people of Tigray have been faced with the genocidal war committed and led by the Ethiopian and Eritrean governments. In the past 2 years, the Tigrayan women have been raped, the Tigrayan men have been massacred, arbitrarily detained and abducted. Our historical heritage has been destroyed. Our mosques, our churches have been destroyed. All the developmental gain the people of Tigray have worked hard for over 30 years have been destroyed. Tigray has been destroyed completely merely because the Biden administration chose to remain silent. We're here demanding the US government, as Tigrayan Americans, as global citizens, to uphold its responsibility to protect and ensure the Ethiopian and Eritrean governments are held accountable. There needs to be an independent investigation into all crimes that were committed against the people of Tigray. Journalists should have access to Tigray and ensure they document everything that has happened to the people of Tigray in the past 2 years. According to the conservative number we have gotten so far, over 600,000 civilians have been killed. These are children, these are mothers, youth, mothers, young people that had dreams and aspirations, just everyone here in the US. They deserve justice. The Tigrayan people lives matter. Our lives matter just as much as anyone's life matters, just as much as the Ukraine lives matter. We commend the US government for its leadership in helping the Ukrainian people against Russia's invasion. But we're dismayed. We're dismayed by the lack of action and inaction from the US government. If America is truly a beacon of democracy, then it owed it to itself to have the same principles everywhere and ensure dictators in Ethiopia do not continue to use their state apparatus to subjugate the people of Tigray. Just 2 days ago, we heard of a peace agreement that was signed in South Africa. But it didn't take the Ethiopian government days to violate it and to bombard Tigray. As we speak, Tigray is being attacked from left and right. As we speak, the Tigrayan people are starving to death in the dark. As we speak, Tigray is still under siege and blocked. We cannot call our family members. We don't know what has happened to them in the past 2 years. But according to the so-called peace agreement, Tigray was supposed to be reconnected. We were supposed to be able to call to our family members and find out about the agonizing life they had led for the past 2 years. But none of this is happening, merely simply because the Ethiopian government is not committed to peace. The Ethiopian government and its allies in Eritrea have made it clear their number one agenda is the complete extermination of the people of Tigray. They have killed us, they have starved our people, they have raped our women, they have destroyed our land. We deserve and demand justice. There needs to be accountability. The US government, the Biden administration needs to announce the genocide determination that is sitting on their table at the State Department. The US government needs to pass both peace bills that would hold all perpetrators of the crime accountable. We deserve justice. If there is no accountability, there cannot be sustainable peace in Ethiopia. The instability, the genocidal war in Tigray has a far-reaching consequence, not only on the people of Tigray, not only on Ethiopians and Africans, but also on the Horn of Africa and humanity at large. Sustaining the Tigray genocide does not support America's national interest in Africa. Only holding the genocidal regime in Ethiopia and Eritrea would meet America's interest in Africa. That is why we are here today, like we have been doing for the past 2 years, demanding and calling upon the US government to do better, to hold the genocidal regimes accountable, and to ensure the people of Tigray have justice and access to humanitarian aid. The people of Tigray cannot continue in this dire situation. Far too many lives have already perished under the US government's watch. We deserve justice.
We deserve justice.
We deserve justice.
We deserve justice.
Call it a genocide.
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 Call it a
Call it a genocide.
genocide. Call it a genocide.
Call it a genocide.
Call it a genocide.
Call it a genocide.
As we speak, the Eritrean troops are deep in Tigray, committing all sorts of war crimes. They're raping the Tigrayan women, they're burning Tigrayan homes, they're burning Tigrayan children alive. The Ethiopian government is doing the same. 2 days ago, there has been a peace agreement that was signed in South Africa, but it didn't take the Ethiopian and Eritrean government a minute to violate it and to continue violating the people of Tigray, destroying them, burning their homes and their churches and their mosques. The US government needs to call these belligerent acts accountable and ensure that Tigray people have access to humanitarian aid and that they don't continue to be exterminated in the dark. Call it a genocide.
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 Through its action and inaction, the US government has been emboldening the Ethiopian and Eritrean government to continue exterminating the people of Tigray. The US government has a responsibility to do better and hold genocidal regimes accountable. We demand and we deserve justice just the way the Ukraine people have been able to get justice. We deserve justice.
We deserve justice.
We deserve justice.
We deserve justice.
Over 120,000 Tigrayan women have been violated. They have been raped and their private parts have been filled with dirt and sharp objects because the ultimate goal of the Ethiopian and Eritrean governments in waging this war is a complete extermination of the people of Tigray. The US government needs to do better and hold this genocidal regimes act accountable by recognizing the Tigray genocide and ensuring the people of Tigray get justice. Call it a genocide.
Call it a genocide.
Call it a genocide.
Call it a genocide.
Has been reported by independent journalists and rights groups the people of Tigray have endured crimes that amount to a genocide. The State Department has had enough time to investigate and to come to a conclusion whether what happened to Tigrayan people is a genocide or not. They're hiding the report because it does ensure that the genocide in Tigray has happened by Ethiopia and Eritrea. Their silence is emboldening the Abiy and Eritrean government to continue to exterminate the people of Tigray with impunity. We deserve justice!
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 We demand peace!
We demand peace!
We demand peace!
We demand peace!
Eritrean troops out of Tigray!
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 Arab militia out of Tigray!
Amara militia out of Tigray!
Arab militia out of Tigray!
Amara militia out of Tigray!
Arab militia out of Tigray!
Amara militia out of Tigray!
Ethiopian troops 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 out of Tigray!
Ethiopia is guilty of the Tigray genocide!
Ethiopia is guilty of Tigray genocide!
Ethiopia is guilty of Tigray genocide!
Ethiopia is guilty of Tigray genocide.
Eritrea is guilty of Tigray genocide!
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 End the Tigray genocide!
In the Tigray genocide.
The Tigray genocide!
In the Tigray genocide.
The Tigray genocide!
In the Tigray genocide.
Free Tigray!
Free Tigray.
Free Tigray!
Free
Free Tigray!
Tigray.
This is a peaceful protest against the ongoing genocide in Tigray, Ethiopia. The Ethiopian and Eritrean governments have been committing a genocidal war against the people of Tigray for the past 2 years. As we speak, the people of Tigray, over 6 million of them, do not have access to humanitarian aid, do not have access to their banks, cannot access health care and school. The people in Tigray are dying of starvation and man-made starvation because food and hunger are being used as a war practiced by Ethiopia and Eritrea government. We request and demand the U.S. government to do better to intervene and hold the genocidal actors accountable. The people of Tigray for the past years and now are being bombarded. Their homes are being targeted with drone strikes. Nowhere in Tigray is safe. People cannot go to school, people cannot go to church because even these holy places are being targeted with drone attacks. End the Tigray genocide!
In the Tigray genocide.
End the Tigray genocide!
In the Tigray genocide.
End the Tigray genocide!
In the Tigray genocide.
End the Tigray genocide!
In the Tigray genocide.